This is how we bring peace to troubled minds.
Perfect Turd Podcast, episode 279, Lamar, Healing Towers.
Well, Joe, in society right now, there's a lot of push on mental health. And this movie has a very interesting way of dealing with past trauma. It involves pretty much beating the living crap out of, people who stand in for your, surrogate people that you hate.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Something. Well, Lamar, let's get into the first category. What do we think of the story?
I think I know how you feel about this, about this movie in general. Well, Joe,
no, you don't.
Okay, you're right.
Don't
try
to predict my judging, Lamar. This movie's going to end up with a great rating, I suppose.
I love how you said that. Well, I will say this, and we're going to bring this up because this did bother me. There is a doctor, Joe, and he is aptly named Mark Healer. And he is a therapist, psychologist, and he has his own little building where he brings people in off the street that want to, work on their, issues, past traumas. The problem is, though, Joe, is that he brings other people in to stand in for the people that he's brought in to help their trauma, to pretty much be not just punching bags, but just straight up just victims of just rage from these people, carrying out like all these things that have happened to them in the past.
Yep. Well, I would say as a premise, I thought it was a good premise.
Yes.
And there was many elements that I liked about it.
Yes.
I thought that my biggest problem with the movie is pacing.
Really?
It was paced too slow and too long. But it wasn't even that long of a movie. It's like an hour and a half, but it felt long.
I didn't feel like it felt long. There was maybe a dead point. I think, well, we'll talk about it between characters. Two characters are just like, shit is going on. But anyway, I didn't think it was paced horribly, though. But I do like the premise of it and stuff like that. So I did like that part.
Yeah. To me, premise good, execution not so much.
Okay.
What do you give it for story?
I'm giving it a 1. What do you give it?
I'm giving it a half point, Lamar.
All right, fine. Yeah, man.
Our next category, Lamar, is what did we think of the characters?
Well, once again, Joe, we have Dr. Mark Healer. Good Lord. And, there's these friends. Well, let's start off. There's Joe that is looking for, and I know this ain't you, his long lost daughter that has gone missing. Yeah. You would just be like, oh, thank God. He is just tracking her down because she was very much into Mark Healer's research. But then that brings him to meet up with Julia Carlar, and her friend goes missing because Darlene, her friend, is really into Mark Healer as well. And she's gone missing, but unbeknownst to her, Darlene has pretty much become one of these, freaking ragdoll for these people just to beat up on to take care of their trauma. And I will say this. There was a part where it's like they're looking for these missing people. There was a hinted romance between Joe and Julia.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Just spice things up, Lamar, I guess.
Well, Joe, I know you don't care, but if you're looking for your daughter or your friend, it's like, man, maybe we can get it on. Like, that was weird to me. I will say that.
Like, his wife was dead, right? So, and he was like, this is the first time I've kissed someone since my wife died and my daughter disappeared. I'm like, well, it's healing. It's all about healing, Lamar.
but what about her? She's like, well, I can't find my friend now. I might as well.
There's 24 hours in a day, Lamar. You can't look for someone constant.
But that's on your brain. Like, I can understand if they built up like, okay, at the end, It's like,
Right.
well, maybe we can go out sometime. It's like, no, well,
Maybe
I
they
mean, we
had
got an hour.
right brain fog. They call that. You got to get rid of the brain fog sometimes.
Oh, well, I think it was brain other F word that they were
Oh,
thinking about. But yeah, that was just weird to me. That was just a
yeah,
weird character element that came out of damn near nowhere.
yeah.
Uh,
I
yeah,
mean, I like the villain, honestly.
he was
I
cool.
thought it was a good villain. The rest of the characters I wasn't really into that much. They just
That's
seemed kind
fair.
of bland to me.
Mm,
So I don't know. I'll give it a half point for characters.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Yeah.
Well, our next category, Lamar, is the special effects and the gore.
Okay. There were parts where it's like, okay, that works. There is one part though where someone's arm gets chopped
Yeah,
off,
he's just
and I was just like, wait, I didn't think that was gonna happen because of how they were aiming and stuff
yeah.
like that. So I was just like, I was more confused by that part. But it's not a gory movie, but it's like
No,
the gore that you have there is kind of it was kind of cheap. Like, eh.
it was, especially when they had that guy sitting there with the arm cut off, and you could see his real arm like like kind of tucked behind and everything. No, well, I do appreciate that they did try to do some stuff with special
Yes.
effects. They did like the eyeball, pull out an eyeball. There was
Yeah.
like, would they cut off someone's ear or
Yeah.
something? So they tried stuff, and I'm down with that. Like you said, it was kind of cheap. But I guess my biggest gripe was there wasn't enough.
That's fair. Yeah.
So
I and see for me it was like it was it was very bland. It was
yeah,
just kind of like when the ear cut off, you didn't see the ear get cut off. You just saw the earpiece.
yeah.
It's like,
Mm.
okay, eh.
What do you give it?
I'll give it a half.
Yeah, I agree. Half point. Well, our next category, Lamar, is we were trying to think of categories for this movie, Lamar, and I thought of an interesting one: the weaponry of this movie.
Explain this, because I want to know. I want to know how I'm gonna judge
Well, as
this.
I was watching the movie, I like at the end of the movie, the guy whips out some kind of gun, and
Oh
I didn't know
well.
what the hell gun that was. Honestly, like it looked like a flare gun rifle. I don't know what that was. It like uh, all the props in this movie. There was a line in this movie where one of the villains, like there's a severed head, and one of the villains goes, "Oh, that's just a Halloween decoration." And I started thinking about that with all the weapons of this movie. Like the knives were kind of wobbly, and like the axe looked like it was made of plastic, or like the gun. I don't know what gun that was, but it looked like something out of a. It looked like the gun that Elmer Fudd uses.
Did they even shoot a gun in this movie?
I don't know if he ever shot it off.
That's my problem too, because they kind of escape from people that have guns, and you're like, wow, they kind of seem like dumbasses now. Like they have guns on them, but
Yeah.
uh,
I don't know. I just thought like the weapons look silly for some reason. Unless listen, I don't know about guns. That could be like a real model of a gun, but to me it looked like Elmer Fudd's gun.
damn.
It just
Wow.
looked weird.
All right, Joe. Well, you feel how you feel.
So I'm gonna give it a half point for weaponry, Lamar.
I agree. Yeah, there was some things there. I was like, okay, y'all lost me.
Well, our last category, Lamar, is an interesting one that we had to think of on the spot here: healthcare workers.
Well, we have one person that's pretty much a freaking psychopath.
Hmm.
Rips out eyes and shit and delights in it. Then we have the nurse, Joe.
Yeah, Nurse Grace.
How do I say this? We've been to hospitals. Um, her nurse getup was a little
Yeah, 1 point for Nurse Grace, Lamar.
I was looking at it, I was like I mean, do you think that he got that for her, or is something like, I'm gonna be sexy? You
I don't
don't
know.
care?
Nah, I wasn't thinking that deep into the plot, honestly.
Because it was like leather, and I'm like, or what is it? Pleather or whatever. I'm
Pleather.
just like, all right, well, this is. I thought I was about to go in another direction. I'm like, oh, what kind of movie are we watching?
Yeah.
You got to give it a one,
Well,
Joe.
1 point for Nurse Grace.
I'll agree with you.
Okay. Well, Lamar, we tally the score, and this movie gets a 3.25 out of 5.
There's something here. I
Yeah.
think if they would have, like you said, beef up the characters a little bit more, have them not be so bland. The villain was cool,
He was
but
good.
the
He
rest
was a
of the
good villain.
characters,
He was a villain. Except for
yeah.
Nurse Grace. She was good.
Oh, but she was good. She came for another reason, Joe. Jeez, man. Oh. Yeah. What can you do? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, does that wrap it up then, Lamar?
It does.
Peace.
Deuces.
I'm going to the Healing Towers to see Nurse Grace.